In today's show, we'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin price action, as we do each and every day, as well as breaking news. Hong Kong Bitcoin ETF issuers consider seeking approval to trade in mainland China. You know, this is a pretty big deal. We'll also be discussing Wells Fargo reporting exposure to Grayscale and ProShares Bitcoin ETFs. That means Jamie Dimon's. And all of these big banks, from JP Morgan to Wells Fargo, all gaining exposure to the King crypto. Pretty big deal. We'll also be discussing SBF maintains his innocence as he trades rice in jail. You can't make this ish up. Trading rice, yo. Whoa. We'll also be discussing crypto analyst says bullish cycle not yet over, predicting $100,000 Bitcoin in this fourth quarter. But there is a catch. We'll also be discussing the Fundstrat CEO predicting when Bitcoin price will reach not only 150,000, but also $500,000 per coin. As well as Jack Dorsey says Bitcoin will be worth at least $1 million by 2030. Send it. All this plus so much more in today's show. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's your way to support us for free, and it helps out tremendously and is always greatly appreciated and will only help benefit the incredible Bitcoin community. And with that being shared, also pump the like. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algo, and that's also appreciated. Today is pod number 1635. I'm your host, JV. It's lit in here today. I got the brew, I got the herb, and I'm ready to kick this thing into high gear. It is Friday, so TGIF. Hopefully, now that we have corrected quite a bit and had this BTFD opportunity, we'll now have a little weekend pump. What do you say? Let me know. And also, it's May 10th, 2024. So let's dive right into it. Checking out the market watch, as you can see on your screen. We got everything virtually in the red right now, correcting moderately. We got a modest 3% correction on Bitcoin on the day. Ether down almost 4%. TRX, one of the only gainers in the top cryptos. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. We got a 2.3 trillion market cap with 62 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin DOM is 53.3% with the Ether dominance at 15.6%. And checking out the top gainers in the top 100 at least, you can see AKT up 11%, Injective up 6%, and Toncoin up 5% as the majority are again, in the red. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective on the daily. As you can see, safe to say 90% to 92% of these alts correcting, handful in the green. Zooming out on the monthly, we've also had pretty substantial corrections after the alts have been running pretty well for the past few months up until more recently. So past 30 days, a lot of bloodshed out there in the markets, even on the top projects. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're currently rated as 66 in greed. Yesterday, 55, last week a 48, and last month a 78 in extreme greed. So there you have it. So you can see it says here, Bitcoin flash crash raises chance of Bitcoin to dip to $54,000. And let me just move this out of my way real quick. Something. Yeah, I guess we could do that. I'll put this down. 1 second. Right there. Okay, cool. So you should be able to see on your screen right now. Let me know in the chat. Software is acting a little buggy for some reason, but you should be able to see. Bitcoin fell over 2,000 in an hour today as a sudden wave of volatility disrupted an otherwise quiet market. Data from Cointelegraph showed that leveraged long traders were caught offside as the Bitcoin price suddenly dropped from a high of 63.5 on May 10th to an intraday low of 60,300, as we can see here in the 1 hour chart. And at this time, the losses are still mounting, but it's only a mere 2.5% loss. It's not a big deal. The final accumulation is happening, according to the crypto analyst Mikhail van de Popp, reacting to what has become a familiar event in short time frames for Bitcoin ever since the infamous halving. Now, he also explained that this includes the low volatility and the choppy price action Bitcoin displayed since February 29th, and that the latest crash saw Bitcoin drop back to the important area of support not hodling, then we're looking at 52 to 55,000, which will be the final stage of the correction. Meanwhile, analyst Dan Crypto Trades said a Bitcoin's flash crash to 60 Gs on May 9th was a quick move to punish these longs that aped in above 63 Gs, as he points out right here alongside the chart. Now, those betting on a continuation of Bitcoin's recovery above 64,000 lost big today as the downturn liquidated 127 milli in long positions worth amid a 24-hour total wipeout of 175 million, as you can see here from CoinGlass. So literally, with the latest drawdown, 9 million in Bitcoin leverage positions have been liquidated over the last hour alone from the time of this article, with 6 million of those being longs. So there you go. Now, other news, a lot in the conversation right now. We know the Hong Kong ETFs just went live. I believe it was literally 11 days ago on the 30th of April. Now, big talk that the mainland of China may be able to start investing into this ETF issuer out of Hong Kong. That's a big deal because Hong Kong is a very small island, right, on the outskirts of the mainland. Mainland is where there's a population of 1.5 billion people with a lot of, some wealthy folk in there, obviously. So these are big. If this happens, this would be major and drive a lot of exposure to the ETFs out there in Asia. And we also know game theory in full effect. Many other countries follow in suit, including Australia, which we've discussed and covered here in the news. They're planning to launch an ETF at the end of the month. We also know about El Salvador launching a Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out ETF. And there's going to be other countries that follow suit. So strap in. You're in for a pretty amazing ride ahead, if you know what I mean. Anyways, the latest with Wells Fargo stacking some biddies, as outlined here in this article. The bank reportedly holding 143,000 worth of shares of ProShares, Bitcoin Strategy ETF, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and Bitcoin Depot. Interesting. Check this out. Major U.S.-based financial services firm Wells Fargo disclosed investments in Bitcoin ETFs offered by Grayscale and ProShares. Also want to point out, breaking news just in, America's largest bank, which is JP Chase, with CEO Jamie Dimon, a.k.a. Jamie Dimon. And when I think of Jamie Dimon, one thing comes to mind.
That fuck 'em up. I'ma do my stuff.
You know what I mean? But anyways, you can see the SEC filing right here. So we call these people hypocrites because
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Wells Fargo,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to point that out. But this is a pretty big deal. It means all major banks are soon going to have exposure to Bitcoin if they don't already have exposure to Bitcoin. So please keep that in mind. The total value of the 3 Bitcoin-related investments is pretty small, but hey, it's a start. Wells Fargo has roughly 1.7 trillion in assets as of June of last year. So again, that's a big market to tap into for their customers, making it the 3rd largest bank in the U.S. by holdings. Again, number 1 is JP Morgan. The SEC added that observers should not assume that the info provided by financial firm was accurate and complete. Well, thank you, SEC. What kind of information do you actually provide as far as clarity is concerned? The SEC approved the listing of the trading of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, as you know, back in January. Trading firm Susquehanna reported it purchased more than $1 billion. We covered that in a few episodes ago of the Bitcoin ETFs in the first quarter of 2024, largely comprised of GBTC, Fidelity, and the other ProShares Bitcoin strategy ETF. So that's pretty lit. I mean, I think virtually all major institutions, asset managers, banks will have access to Bitcoin, again, whether directly or indirectly, as there's so many ways to get exposure, because if you don't got Bitcoin,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
You know what I mean? So here we go. SBF update. He's now trading rice. Wow, this guy. Whoa. FTX co-founder SBF still maintains his innocence despite getting 25 years in jail for fraud. And while he plans his appeal, he's taking to commodities trading, namely bags of rice. In his first in-person chat with the media since being locked up in Brooklyn's MDC back in August of last year. Bankman-Fried spoke to Puck News' William Cohan in an interview published May 9th, which Bankman-Fried's mother, Barbara Fried, was involved in organizing. The ex-FTX CEO's diet sees him get vegan meals that fellow inmates think literally smell like ish. Oh my God. So he lives on beans and rice. Whoa. The latter has become one of the currencies of the realm inside MDC. Wow. So he's eating beans and rice. Maybe he's not eating much of the rice, so he can trade it as a currency. That's wild. The alum of trading house Jane Street Capital and co-founder of trading firm Alameda reportedly joked about how much better the arbitrage opportunities are in jail compared to his former life as a high-frequency trader. Oh, my God. Bankman-Fried was considerably thinner, losing 25 pounds. Good for him. And was less pudgy. No longer pudgy Bankman. Less manic, less fidgety, and with no bags under his eyes. Wow. Looks like a total 3, or I should say a 180. He looked Cohan in the eyes and said pretty much the whole time during the interview, something he rarely did before, but that jailed the founder admitted he'd become good at faking that he was doing well. So you saw this infamous leaked photo in which you can see his inmates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including a Bankman-Fried. One of them you can see identified there. And yeah, definitely lost a lot of weight. And this picture was back in February. Obviously, we're now in May. But anyways, yeah, he went from one of the wealthiest young men in the world to now serving 25 years in prison. He has 35 other male inmates. Half reportedly murderers. Whoa. And those who are cooperating with the government in a large open dorm style room. That's weird. In part of the MDC, mostly for female inmates. Wait. So he is in a facility which is usually for female inmates, mostly, and they're in a large open dorm room. I hope he's not having orgies in this facility. Like, real talk, that's what he was known for doing in the Bahamas, in the mansion with Caroline, allegedly. Interesting. He reportedly extremely bored with only 4 TVs. Wow, he has access to TV? And non-internet connected tablet for entertainment, which he plays games on. So he has a tablet. That's interesting as well. Connected to the internet. Dude, it sounds like JV in his office. Like, wow, that's pretty amazing facility, if you ask me. He's not worried about his safety, but doesn't sleep well as other inmates wake him to ask about his bags of rice as they want to use them for bartering. Imagine trying to sleep, yo. Wake up, Sam. I need a bag of rice. Sorry, I don't have any more rice. You can't make the rice cakes, bro. Let me get some sleep. But anyways, yo, let's keep it moving. I still got a lot to share with you guys. Next story of the day. Now that you got the SBF update, we've all needed in our lives. Let's discuss crypto analyst says bullish cycle not over, predicting $100,000 Bitcoin in the fourth quarter. Hey, talking about ETs. That looks like an ET if I've ever seen one. What do you think? On the screen for you guys watching the stream. But anyways, yeah, widely followed trader says the Bitcoin can skyrocket to a 6-figure price in the fourth quarter of this year. We have analyst altcoin Sherpa. He shared with his followers that Bitcoin, his bull cycle has yet to finish, quoting him here. I still don't think that it would be over, though, and that it is for this cycle. I think that we are still going to see Bitcoin to 6 figures and some sort of mania. And according to the analysts, Bitcoin could gigascend to a price of 100,000 in the fourth quarter of this year. That's dope. I never heard the term gigascend. I'm going to start using that. Gigascend. Let's go. Sherpa says there are a few compelling bear cases for Bitcoin that can see it fall by up to 35% from its current price before it shoots up to 6 figures. Quoting him here, is it over? I don't think so, but I think that this type of price action leads to the larger downtrends and pullbacks. Even if Bitcoin goes to $40,000 or $50,000, it is still high time frame bullish. But if we saw a move to $50,000, this would result in probably a violent move that would wreck the market. For example, a move from 60 to 50, which would be strong, and alts take a 50% haircut or more from these current levels. We're not there yet, but might need a further washout. I would envision a scenario where Bitcoin goes to 40, 50,000, everything gets wiped out, we chop for 3 to 4 months around there, and then gig ascend to 100,000 in the fourth quarter of 2024 this year, fam, as outlined here in the chat. Let's go. I'm ready. You ready for the six-figure Bitcoin fiesta live in Puerto Rico? If so, let me know and let's freaking go. All right, so here we are. Next story of the day. We discussed the 100K target. Now we're going to discuss the 150G target, as well as a $500,000 million target. And then we'll discuss Jack Dorsey's $1 million target. Thomas Lee, the CEO of Fundstrat, the independent financial research boutique, maintained his bullish stance on the king crypto. The financial analyst predicted that Bitcoin can surge massively, doubling its current price to reach 150 G's, baby, during this current crypto market this year in this cycle. So let's break it down. He was recently interviewed on Squawk Box and doubled down on his previous Bitcoin forecast, expressing strong confidence that Bitcoin would experience a dramatic surge before the end of the year. He predicts that Bitcoin, currently priced at, well, at this time now, 60 G's, baby, will exceed previous all-time high and will reach 150,000 per coin. I want to know if you guys in the chat agree with this particular prediction of 150 G's this year in 2024. He also disclosed earlier in April in an interview that Bitcoin would definitely make new all-time highs this year, predicting Bitcoin to 150,000, as well as predicting 500,000 for the long term. He highlighted that the strong demand for the biddies has been fueling the price increase, and furthermore, the integration of the Rune protocol, which we know is the new token standard for issuing fungible tokens such as NFTs on the Bitcoin network, and also bolstered the blockchain's network. And I know the miners are enjoying it though. Lee's ambitious forecast that Bitcoin comes at a time when the market has been experiencing significant volatility and periods of fluctuations. Bitcoin previously hit the all-time high, which is currently sitting at 73,800. That was mid-March. So that's where price discovery currently lives, and I think we'll revisit it here soon. Let me know your thoughts. Now, since the halving occurred, it was just 2 weeks ago, many analysts believe it would trigger another price rally. I want to know your thoughts if you're in that camp. Do you see new all-time highs come in, or do you think it'll consolidate for a little longer before running up? Let me know your thoughts, family. Now for our feature story of the day. Jack Dorsey, the former Twitter CEO, is predicting Bitcoin smashing $230,000 by the year 2030. Let's break it down and shout out to Jack. The Twitter co-founder says the price of the biddies could reach the price of at least $1 million by the year 2030, adding that its value could grow even further from that point onward. Speaking at a recent interview with Mike Solana on Pirate Wires, Dorsey offered a bullish outlook for the long-term price action of Bitcoin, as well as providing further context behind his abrupt departure from the board of Blue Sky, which is a decentralized Twitter alternative he helped launch in 2019. Interesting. I've never even heard of Blue Sky. What about you guys in the chat? Let me know. Dorsey told Solana, I'm like, what? I know he's a maxi. Why is he selling Solana? My correction, he told Solana, the interviewer, he believes Bitcoin's price could reach at least $1 million by 2030, adding that it most likely hits that number and goes way beyond. Dorsey, now the head of financial services firm Block, noted Bitcoin's price isn't actually the most interesting aspect of Bitcoin, and instead pointed to the collaborative nature of the ecosystem and the way it incentivizes collective efforts to enhance the network. Quoting him here, the most amazing thing about Bitcoin, apart from the founding story, is anyone who works on it or gets paid in it or buys it for themselves. Everyone who puts any effort in to make it better is making the entire ecosystem better, which makes the price go up. It's a fascinating ecosystem and movement, more than anything else, he said, before adding, it taught me a lot. Dorsey raised eyebrows May 6th, when it was confirmed he would be departing the board of Blue Sky, a decentralized social network which he helped start as an alternative to Twitter. He said that Blue Sky was literally repeating all the mistakes made, adding that it is not a protocol that could be deemed truly decentralized. It's just another app. Dorsey originally envisioned Blue Sky as an open source protocol that Twitter and other platforms could build on top of, separating the protocol layer from the application layer to reduce the censorship risk. However, he said the firm started behaving more like a traditional company that began pushing for moderation tools. Quoting him here, everything we wanted around decentralization, everything we wanted in terms of an open source protocol, suddenly became a company with VCs and a board. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I intended to help create. That's right, because when it comes to the suits,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
You know what I mean? Dorsey, who has since deleted his Blue Sky account, said the platform Nostr is anonymous. How many of you are using Nostr? Let me know, family. You can find Crypto News Alerts on it, just FYI. It's an open protocol with no company or centralized control, aligned with more of his goals of censorship resistance. In a note to shareholders May 2nd, Dorsey said his fintech firm Block will flip 10% of its gross profit from Bitcoin-related products back into buying more Bitcoin every month. On May 1st, it was reported, the U.S. federal prosecutors were probing Block after documents alleged compliance violations at the firm's payments division, Square, and Cash App. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me know your thoughts on Jack Dorsey and his prediction of Bitcoin smashing $1 million by 2030. We know Cathie Wood has been calling for $1 million and at the top of the decade for a long time. In fact, she recently upped her bull scenario to 3.8 million, which we have covered here on the show by 2030. That's her bull scenario. If the major institutions do a 5% allocation into the King Crypto, BTC, I see that can happen. The question, by when? Can it happen sooner than that? I think it's in the cards. I believe Bitcoin has no top as fiat has no bottom. I mean, a lot of bullish catalysts in the markets. Even though we're correcting, it's all good. This is normal. I've been telling you guys every day virtually, be prepared for extreme volatility and chop to the upside, to the downside. Every halving, pre-halving, post-halving, extreme volatility. That's what we're witnessing. But thus far, 60 is holding strong. I think 60 is the psychological support right now. 58 is the line in the sand. As long as we can maintain above 58,000, we should be good, right? And I think we bounce right back. And thus, we've been holding 60,000. The times we've dropped below 60, it's like very short-lived and it bounces like immediately back, like when we hit in the 59 level. So that seems to be the strong spring resistance in the market right now. Once Bitcoin 2x's from here, 120 G's. So for that, I got to sample this clip twice.
60 G's, baby!
60 plus 60.
60 G's, baby!
That gives us 120. Then what if we did it again? Another 60. Then you're at 180. And before you know it, 4x, you're at 240. Before you know it, 250,000 Bitcoin doubles into 500,000 Bitty. Before you know it, 500,000 Bitty doubles into $1 million per Bitski. And yes, a Bitty and a Bitski is the same. We just have different slang out here. So thank you, Melda. I think I just learned that term today too, a Bitski. So appreciate it. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on Bitcoin smashing $1 million. When can you see that happen? And even let me know when you can see six figures. Holla. I'm going to read your comments out loud. Peter, my ex-wife was extremely volatile. Nailed it. Her emotions? If silver was Bitcoin, I would be going through my kitchen. Damn straight. Liquidating that ish. That silver to buy the biddies.
60 G's, baby!
So now we can send it to 180. Now we got 3 of those babies in there.
Had the people on my back to get a song. Red broke, have a talk, we smoked them like a bomb.
Bingo. Shout out to the Rumble fam as well. We are streaming right now on the Tube and Rumble. Appreciate you guys. You know what? We just had a Bitcoin halving. Let's celebrate with the Oompas.
Oompa doo. I've got another halving for you. Oompa loompa.
Oompity doo.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best.
Doompa dee. Less mining rewards more scarcity. What do you get when your printer goes brr?
What do we get when the printer goes brr?
Inflate supply like the Federal Reserve. Value go down like a lead balloon. Durr. What do you think will come?
What comes from that? Stacking another million sats while it's cheap. Good for you, Chris. Almost 1,700 sats per dollar right now. Seize the moment. Thanks for the laughs. You're very welcome, Darth Melda. Appreciate you, Siski. Good to see you. Yeah, work sucks. Let's go, biddies. I could watch more. I think by the end of the year, we'll see the big bump. 1 million by 2029, 6 figures November this year. Bring it. Bring it. I love the predictions. Keep them coming. Thank you, Senf. There is no second best.
Of that, Satoshi's having none of it.
We call people who save in fiat currency. Great question. Let's ask Sailor.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use.
What do we call these folks? You know those fiat savers, those no coiners, those anti-Bitcoin folks. What do we call them?
Fiat currency as a store of value.
You've heard of the melting ice cube, right?
We call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor.
Facts. One of the best clips. Shout out Little Bubble on these tracks. A lot of these tracks, we sample Little Bubble a lot here. 1 million by 2029. Wrong. 2.8 million in 4 years. Now we're talking. Bring it. Bring it. Greg. Poor. That's right. Broke. Broke.